elephant's toothpaste. A fun science experiment where you mix two chemicals together and poof, it makes a bunch of bubbles. The question I'm going to answer today is, what two chemicals do you mix together? There's many recipes out there, but the most common one is hydrogen peroxide and yeast. Anyway, where were we? Oh right, making elephant's toothpaste. The problem with using these ingredients is the hydrogen peroxide you buy at the store or the pharmacy is really weak, which in turn makes a weak reaction. Here, let me show you. I'm gonna put the yeast in a cup of warm water, then we're gonna pour the hydrogen peroxide. But remember, safety third, or first. Is it third or first?
It's first.
Anyway, we're gonna pour a cup of hydrogen peroxide, and then we can just add a little bit of dish soap, and now we just pour them together. As you can see, it does work, but it's not particularly impressive. You could of course solve this problem with higher concentrations of hydrogen peroxide, but not only is that more dangerous, it's also more difficult to find. But don't worry, there are other options. And one of those is citric acid and baking soda. You don't have to get this much baking soda. This reaction is very similar to vinegar and baking soda, but because citric acid comes in a powdered form, you can make higher concentrated solutions. So how are we going to mix these two chemicals? It's basically the same as the hydrogen peroxide and yeast. Just going to take a small bowl and just put in 1 or 2 spoonfuls of citric acid. Then you need to add a little bit of water, of course add the dish soap, and finally a spoonful of baking soda. As you can see, it made quite a lot of foam, especially considering the amount of chemicals we used, but it still isn't that impressive. So how do we fix it? One option would be to take a small plastic bottle, as well as a syringe and some plastic tubing. The reason for the syringe and tubing is that the reaction happens very quickly, so it can be hard to get your hand out of the way in time. But if we drill a small hole in the side of the bottle and hot glue the tubing in, then we can just attach the syringe and that problem goes away altogether. Then all you need to do is put about a tablespoon of citric acid in the bottle and mix it with some water. Same for the baking soda in the syringe, and then you can connect the tube and you're good to go. Of course, add soap and food coloring, and you can even add different colors of food coloring in the syringe and the bottle, so when they're combined, make some really cool effects.
In order to make the reaction shoot up in the air, I did have to add back on the bottle cap with the 5/16 hole drilled in it.
Well, that's all I have for this video, but if you have some extra citric acid and baking soda lying around, you can check out this video where I make a citric acid powered rocket. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.